Okay, and here we go. Night number 2, course number 2, and it will be the Chastener by Victory Lane Sports, aka Eric Nesbitt, aka Nezzy the Lezzy. He may not like that name. I find humor in it, and that's all that matters. So, and we had like a little bit of a thing going there. I'm actually going to see if I can run this in really high def and see if it helps the looks on this at all. I'm going to see how it affects everything, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh, what? Okay. Just... Okay, maybe I misspelled it the first time and didn't even know it, but la-di-da. So, as I do these, I always try to point out that 99% of everything I'm going to say is my opinion only. If there are technical issues, I will point them out as technical issues. If there are things that are going to cost the designer points in a contest setting, then I will definitely point those out and say, hey, these are going to cost you points. Other than that, a lot of the things I point out are nothing more than me lending an opinion as a designer. I have not previously played any of these courses. This one is no exception. So he's only going to be getting my first impressions of what I'm playing through. As I go back through and play these and actually score them out, those opinions may change because I will get more into why he's done something or la-da-da. You get the gist of it. So please, if you disagree with me, that's fine. You're welcome to voice your own comments about the course over on the right-hand side. The more you guys communicate with me, the more fun this is. But please don't take what we do in these streams into the course threads or into the judging threads. I will delete those comments and probably ban you from those threads because there's just no point in it. These are nothing more than my opinions in commentary format. So take them for what it's worth. If you like what I have to say, carry it forward to a future course. If you don't agree with me, then that's fine. You don't have to agree with me. It's only my opinion as a designer. More times than not, I'm not saying that the designer has done something wrong or anything else. I'm just giving the viewpoint from my eyeballs as far as what I'm seeing. T options are not bad. They just have to make sense. Okay, what do we got here? We got Mayday's Ball again. So how many of these streams have I had to go through here and like turn off Mayday's Ball? He seems to be my ghost partner for every single round. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of practice swings because I upped the resolution on this particular stream, so I want to make sure it hasn't really jacked with my tempo. Okay, so far so good. Except we're getting a slow backswing on everything, and that's about as fast as I can jerk the damn stick back. Look at that. Oh, goodness. There will be no perfect on this, I'm afraid. Woo, boy, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. Okay. Keep that information in line. So he's got me started out with 255. So at 397 yards, not a horrible thing. There really is no reason to push this with the driver. There's no benefit to it at all, actually. Let's see what kind of rollout he gives me here. Probably could have raised this front bunker, the back lip right here. If you think about this bunker right here, he's got his edging going on. I actually probably would have raised this area as well, just for the looks of what he has going on here. And it would have made that bunker pop out just a little bit more. Would have created a nice little frame with that bit of fairway that slides off to the right. But that's just a me thing, just an eyeball thing. Okay, so 355 puts you in the heavy rough. Yay. Even with the headwind. Did not see that coming. Well, that's an awesome start, so I guess we need to go down to a 5 wood right there. I mean, I realize it's only 392, but... And since it doesn't have any kind of collar on it, shit. Okay, here we go. Good green size. Big enough to give options, but not so big that it makes Griff go, "What the fuck are you doing with this size green?" I'm going with the Build-A-Bridge program over there to the right. Nice looking shot off the tee. I don't know about the teacups. It just feels like a lot of shit that we just put in there to put it in. But, to each their own. I'll say this, if he's going to use that right there as a pin position, that's going to be a tricky ass little shot. Looks like he set it up to go here with the pin, here with the pin, probably back center right with a pin, and all the way back with a pin. That's the way I'm guessing it's going to build in. What's up, Reeb? So, softer greens. .168, so they're not quite Erickson Stone values on that. It's 2 courses in a row with soft greens. What the fuck are y'all trying to do to me, man? Y'all not realize I'm already that bad at this game? Oh, jeez. There we go. And this is going to be an even par special for me right here. Feel that coming. Just quit messing around with these little things and just put it through the damn break and be done with it. It's only 168. Come on, fool. Well, at least we got a waterfall. Nothing says Russia like a waterfall. Okay, you say they're firm. It's just weird because it's just kind of hit and stuck. So that'll be interesting. iGolf Bad started another round on Tillman Golf Club, so he must be practicing for a tour event. So we get our area coming down through here at 279. I don't know how much we want to chew off on that. I'll evaluate the bunkers from the fairway. I like the idea behind him. I'm just wondering if he's got them pushed out in the right areas to where he really gets to show them off. So, okay. You got a big frickin' honking slope up in there. But got two natural shells. Looks like we got a pin location there. We got one back in this corner. We're going to have one up here. I don't know that I would force a second pin up there, so assuming he's going to go front pin up here on that one. So that gives us our 4 pins. Good size green. Okay, so I'm going to go against my gut instinct here and actually go for this green. It seems like it has bunker written all over it. So it's hard to evaluate the bunkers from that shot, so I got to make a note to myself really quick here next time I play it to make sure I stay short and left, so I can look and kind of see what they're doing. I think your next evolution design-wise on your bunkers is just kind of getting a little bit more of the flow and learning how to make them a little bit more dynamic, because these right here, I mean, you got a nice slope to them. I like what you did with the mounting in the back, but see how you got like these nice contours up here on the front of this? Well, you're missing your contour on the back. You can be a little bit more aggressive with that, with your shaping and using your tool up into that to where you get these really nice pronounced ridges right there. Doesn't necessarily affect gameplay at all, except it'll have a little bit more of a tendency to push the ball down into the flat level playing area. But from a look standpoint, you just create a lot different look. It's just a little more pleasing to the eye. And that's just that's a me thing. That's not a have to do it or anything more than what I just said. It's quite literally just a me thing. But you can make them look a little bit more dynamic. Showcases them a little bit more. You're putting the time in to build your ridges and stuff up behind it, so why not take the time to sculpt them out to really make that ridging pop? That's, I guess, the best way to say it. So not horrible. Didn't get up there, but didn't necessarily expect it to, but I'm safe. So I'll take it. Get in there, ball. So pretty cool hole right there. Well, like I said, we on those bunkers, I mean, we all have different ways to do our bunkers. I'm just pointing something out. What he did was not wrong, not bad, or anything else. I'm just giving a suggestion on how to make them a little bit more dynamic, show them off a little bit more, and to give them a little bit more depth from the surface, from actually looking into them. So what he did was not wrong at all. Well, this is a little different here, isn't it? So we got a 445. So medium length. Well, we're... Huh. Okay. So that's an adjoining fairway, I'm guessing. So nothing wrong with that look at all. Okay. Tell you what, I'm going to probably end up questioning this tee shot just a little bit. Okay, that's fair. Hiding a little bit of the green complex behind this bunker. I like what you got going here, but I would actually raise this green complex up. I'd actually raise it up to the level of this other green complex. I'd almost make those the same height. And the reason being is that you get more of that front bunker area coming into that. So you've partially hidden this. You've definitely hidden that part of it, but you're going to hide that regardless, just with the sloping right here. So that's almost an unnecessary bunker. I mean, I'm not one of those that believes that every bunker has to have a purpose. I mean, you can use them to frame your hole, but you haven't framed your hole here. You've hidden it. It's not playable, so what's the purpose of having it there? Apparently, he just likes sculpting. I probably would have came back in here with a hill. I mean, or something like that. Like, just emulate the hill you have right here for this tee box. Just duplicate that hill right here. Gives it a little bit more character. Gets rid of an unnecessary bunker kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me. But I definitely would have elevated this green complex just a little bit to kind of show the bunker work off a little bit more, especially coming in from behind this. That would have been a really cool little look. Oh, slow and slow. Gives me a frickin' break. Actually, I do it quite a bit. So, I just think the routing has to make sense. You have to look at it from, does the routing actually make sense? I do it on Buckhead quite a bit. My number 2 hole is way the hell away from my number 1 hole, but it's routed in a way that 2 then goes into 3, 4, and it wraps back around, and then it ties in. You'll just have to look at the overhead to kind of get a feel for it. So it can be done. You just want it to make sense in how the course is actually routed, and that's not uncommon to do on real life courses either, guys. So before we get into this whole elitist mindset that it's bad, go look at some real life courses. It's used quite a bit actually. It just needs to. You just can't make like hole number 1 here and hole number 2 600 yards away and hole number 3 600 yards away from that and 4 600 yards away from that. That's just poppycock. But you can separate one, like, okay, so you move from hole 1 and you move X amount of distance away to hole number 2, but in between that you have 16 and 17, and then 2 actually goes into 3, and then 4, and blah, blah, blah. That can be done. But it's, there's no necessary rule, but like I said, your routing just has to make sense. So don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. You can do it, just make it make sense. That's about as well as I could have played that right there. Yeah, no. You don't just stick them at various points on the plot. That's a no-no. If you're going for realism. Now, if you're doing Gerard Fraser kind of bullshit, you can do whatever you want to. But if you're actually trying to make a golf course and make it feel like a real golf course, you just don't do that. You can take gaps in between holes here and there, but you're typically going to have a flow that's built into it. You can take more liberties with that with a parkland style course than you can with one that's like spread out, and all that you're not, running holes side by side, but just make it make sense. Boy, my man Eric went bunker crazy on this, didn't he? Apparently they like sand in Russia. Russia is now known for not vodka, not husky women, but for waterfalls and bunkers. I greatly enjoyed burrowing out last year where every hole runs the exact same direction. That was pretty cool. Yes, I'm being a little cheeky. I like Andre, but I'm not going to lie, he got dinged on that, man. It cost him big time. This is just missing something. It's actually a pretty cool little hole, but it's missing that one little thing to make it an oomph hole, and I think it's elevation. I think he's reversed his elevation where it needed to be. He's a little bit higher on the beginning of the fairway right here. Had this area right here been a little bit lower, and then we elevate going into this area, we really show off these bunkers coming into it, and then elevate the tee box just a little bit more behind it, and you get like the stair-stepped effect where everything just sparkles and pops one layer after another. And right now it's just kind of like, maybe I'll change my opinion after this tee shot. Then again, I don't know how crazy I'm about this tee shot, but that is what it is. Guys, I don't follow whip threads. When you guys do these, I don't read that stuff. I don't look at your pictures very often. If I'm tagged into one, it happens to do that. But to me, that from a judging standpoint, that compromises the integrity of the judging, in my personal opinion. So I don't get involved in whips when you guys do these. So if there's a backstory, if there's other things going on, I don't know about it. I am just going by what I'm looking at here. Yeah, need to think about how you elevated this out. And it's not a bad hole. I don't want you guys to get me wrong with that. It's got some very interesting features to it. But it would have been better served being lower at the beginning of the fairway, the middle level being just a little bit higher, and then the green complex being a little bit higher than that. It would have given this very neat little stair-stepped thing to it, to where you would have seen every bit of it from the tee box. Every bit of it would have popped from the tee box. But even more so when you get down to this area, you could have been a little bit more adventurous in your camber and your contouring right here. It would have created some very nice angles and looks going into it. So, and just my kind of take on it, just a little bit of a missed opportunity from that standpoint. You know, 168s. Oh, if I'm not commenting on your greens a whole lot, it means that you're okay on your greens. So, usually if I'm making comments about your greens, it's not a good thing. But, that's what we got here, a 429 yarder. So kind of the same thing we're seeing right here. I think this would have been a little bit better served if we had this part of this bunker raised just a little bit. I mean, I know you're showing it off. I know it's there. There's nothing wrong with what he's done here. I'm going a little bit more in depth with Eric because we have a little bit of rapport. We talk about course design from time to time. And once again, guys, I'm only giving my perspective. What he did is not wrong. If this is what he wanted to do, then he accomplished it, kind of deal. I'm only giving my take as a designer, something I might do a little bit different with it. My take would have been I would have raised that back lip that's kind of just barely visible right there. I probably would have raised that up some. You got to be careful doing that. You don't want to create too much slope off the back of this bunker because it's such a tight little drive. I mean, you don't want to force the ball into the other side, but it could have benefited. So even then, how you accomplish that is not necessarily raising the back part of it here, it's lowering the front side. So you don't necessarily need the really big bump coming up in there and then this part being elevated here. So that could have dropped down a little bit more. Or you can just raise this entire level of the fairway. So a way I would have approached it was doing a combination of everything I just mentioned there, raising this, giving this a hill-like effect in this area, and then letting it drop off into a valley on this side, and then raising it back up as we go further. So creating a little bit of a ripple effect right there. Keep a nice gradient with it, but would have been a really cool look. So, damn sure pinching driver off the tee box here, ain't we? On every hole. This was a just pack your driver up, stick it in sawdust for this course, and play with your woods and long irons, and have a nice day. If you don't like it, piss off. Well, that's an interesting contour right there. I didn't notice that before. So at some point, private message me and tell me what the idea behind this this hill right here is, this camber. Besides, if somebody hits driver, I want to make sure I give them a shitty side hill lie. I mean, that's the only purpose I see to that right there, man. It's the only purpose. So I've pinched your driver anyway, and if you do hit driver and make it through there, well, look what I'm going to do to you here. I'm going to give you just a nasty side hill lie. So I warned you at the beginning, don't hit driver on my course, bitches. Okay, I think I've got the theme of this. Just don't hit driver. Don't do it. Just don't frickin' do it. Nothing good happens. Oh, goodness. I swear, man, he says these are firm, but these are not playing firm. My God, I'm not getting rollout at all. Of course, I mean, that is going into a sizable uphill roll right there, but they're just not playing firm. I don't feel it. Pure communism, or socialism. If everybody can't have a driver, nobody can have a driver. Driver is not good for the masses, so you cannot use driver. So, tell you what, this is an interesting look off the tee box. It's kind of cool, a little bit different. Oh, we're pinching driver on a 588 yard par 5, so we're going to make sure this isn't a two-shot hole, but nice look regardless. Oh boy, I almost screwed that up bad. Yeah, you don't have to make balls bounce to the center on that one, man. Woo! So much really good stuff between where I'm standing and that green complex, just completely. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Do you really want me to say anything more about this? I really don't think you do. It's a good hole. I like the layout. I like the concept. Just same thing. We're just hiding so much good stuff. But it is what it is. And what it is Griff hitting that bunker. Yep. How in the hell did I manage to end up in this? A perfect with barely any wind, and I really didn't go to either edge of the cone on it, and still managed to end up on or in that bunker. Okay. And I'm right on the lip with a 75%. Okay. Yeah, this has bad noogies written all over it. Now that's a slope. At least we got some red and yellow flowers back there. So nothing says Russia like waterfalls, bunkers, and red and yellow flowers. Guess that's paying homage to the former USSR. The Sovietsky Soyuz. Thank God we got a waterfall. Wouldn't be a proper contest course without a waterfall. Well, damn sure don't want people hitting driver on a 463 yard par 4. Surely not. Come on, man. Come on, man. Golly. Oh, fuck. We're just. Well, there went that round. You're okay, be smooth. If we're going to be quite honest, I don't give a crap about waterfalls. They're used, they're overused. You do not get points from me for sticking a waterfall on a golf course. I don't give a shit about them. I'm just going to be flat honest about it. I don't care. Okay, I'm not going to lie, Eric. I'm not a big fan of this hole. Not because I hit the water, but you don't take drive out of somebody's hands on a 463 yard par 4. I know maybe in your mind that you justify that that is a possible and probable landing area, but it's nah. There's no point to do it on that. You've got elevation coming back up, so your length is your challenge on this. You can do a little bit with the green to increase that challenge, make people land in certain spots, but don't take driver out of people's hands on anything over 445 yards. Just don't do it. Resist the temptation. Does not lend itself to a successful hole, in my opinion, ever. Yeah, I know you can hit driver. You shouldn't hit driver because your landing area is what, 18 yards wide? I mean, it might have been 20. If it was more than that, it sure as hell doesn't feel like it with the water and everything else. That feels very pinched down there. I mean, you are probably at 20. No, no way in hell. Well, maybe you're just a better golfer than me. Because three wood with that elevation drops me definitely down in that. So driver down this area right there. I mean, I know distances, man. On this one, I would have given a 25 to 30 yard wide landing zone for driver on this. And if that is that, then it's very, very deceptive. It does not look it. That looks more about the 18 to 23 yard variety pinch. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I will, when I go through and actually judge on it, then I'll test it out. But just from the outset, first time playing the course, I'm not a huge fan of that landing area for this length of hole. So, and the well, I hit driver there every time as designer shit doesn't work with me either because, well, what happens when you've got, wind involved in it? You get a 15 mile an hour side wind on that. I mean, it's a 463 yard hole. Let's be real about it. Of course it's going to check up. Of course it's going to be elevated and hit and not roll at all. That's what we do in this game. So I like the green. I like the idea behind the hole. I like the water on the edge right there. There's a lot of good things about the hole. I'm just not crazy about the landing zone. I think it's too forced. So, and maybe you guys have a theme going on in your backstory. Like I said, I'm not familiar with the backstory, so I don't know, but that was a little bit too much of a pinch off the tee. You can make that hole difficult without necessarily doing that. Now, and this is just a design preference. Absolutely nothing at all wrong with what he's done besides this like not flat tee box he has going on here. But I don't usually like ending my rounds on my nines on par threes. But that, I mean, it's done in real life, so that's not a problem with what he's done. And I don't have a problem with this par three. I actually kind of like it. Flat tee box would have been awesome, but that's going to come in not enough. So we're just going to do a quick thing right here, which is going to be a bad shot. I really have no clue where this putt's going to go. If I'm just being honest about it, that's a weird, funky ass little break right there. So I get a pretty hard break right off the shot. That's going to kick it. Fuck it. Let's just do this. Okay, it worked. I can live with it. So, neat little par three right there. That worked. So, I mean, if we're being real, this is not a long course. This is a pretty short golf course, all in all. So, I don't mind a lot of what's going on here. I've played a lot of courses in real life where driver's just not the stick of the day. You're playing a lot of wood, you're playing a lot of wood irons, and that's just to set yourself up strategically for like what's going on. So all in all, I don't have a problem, but you still have to make it make sense. I don't care on a 378 yard or a 416 yard par four. I think you can be more aggressive with what you're giving the player options for. If they want to hit driver, then fine. Shrink it, camber it, whatever you're going to do, just make it fair. Don't punish a good shot just because they hit driver. Make it difficult to hit driver, but don't punish the shit out of it, kind of deal. That would be the only thing I'd say on that. Now, outside of that, I don't mind him saying, okay, you need to take 5 wood here. That's not a horribly long shot, at 416 yards if you only go 5 wood, or 3 wood or whatever. So I just want to clarify. I'm not bitching and complaining that I'm just not able to grip it and rip it every damn, hole on here. That's not my point at all. But when you start getting into those 460 yard ranges, anything above 450, you better really start thinking about your shots. You really have to start thinking about wind. You have to think about the way that you're contouring. And you have to think about your elevations as far as where the ball's going to land. So when you start getting into it, at 463, that ain't a short hole, man. I mean, that's still a 160 yard shot if you drive it 300 yards. So I don't consider that short. I'm not talking about this hole, Eric. I'm talking in general. I wasn't talking about this hole at all. I was talking about in general. I was actually defending you at that point. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hey baby, can Eric borrow a pair of your panties? I think he just soiled his. One second. Belinda's going to go grab a pair of her Victoria's Secret to loan you so we can get through this stream. No, I didn't say you were punishing me on this at all. I was saying that in your defense, this is a shorter course. So I don't mind. You can be more aggressive with what you're giving the player off a tee when your holes are in the high 300s, low 400 range. At that point, I don't mind going down to 3 wood or 5 wood because it's still a reasonable shot. Then I was saying that when you get to like 450 and above, you really have to start thinking about how everything works in unison because you're playing into a longer shot. And definitely anything 460 and above, you want to be very, very careful about not giving a solid driver for option. At that point, I'd rather give a wider fairway, a little bit of camber, and make it a fairly straightforward driving hole at that distance, and then give a little bit of twist to the green and the landing areas. Make them rethink about what you're doing. So, oh, I ain't even messed up yet. Oh, one of the worst things to do is tell me to calm down when I'm streaming. Are you outside your damn mind telling me to calm down? Oh, Lord. Here we go. Here we go. Nesbitt done told me to calm down when I ain't even up on it yet. Oh, we are now, though. We up on it now. Oh, shit. Slow down swing. Damn it. This is what I get for trying to give you guys high resolution. Dum da da dum 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 da da dum 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 da da dum 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 da dum. Oh, it needed to feedback more than that. Well, here's a well-earned bogey. Da 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 dum dum. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. I don't even know if he knows the pool boy story, to be honest, Tree. Or I actually said that in his stream, so he does. Never mind. A lot of people don't know the whole pool boy incident, and I'm not going to get back into it. It's over and done with. And it actually wasn't just the pool boy; it was the co-owner of the pool company. But it was almost a very bad day. If you've never seen a pool technician jog to his van, you would have that day. So we're back to build a bridge. So this is the bridge that we noticed. So that was on the front nine. On that one, so we're utilizing. So we got a kind of parkland style in what we're doing here. So I don't know how hilarious it was. It actually kind of makes me look like a jackass. I'm kind of embarrassed about it now, but funny as hell that day. All I told him was, "Okay, tough guy, get out of your truck. That's all you got to do. Get out of your van." And I did actually say, "You are 10 seconds away from getting your ass kicked," and that's about the time that the jogging commenced. Yeah, same thing here, Eric. You need to be brave in your style. You do a lot of really good stuff, man. You are a very good designer, but there's sometimes it feels like you're afraid to take a risk and to really make things stand out. Like on these bunkers right here, there's no reason not to pop these up. So think about this shot back here. So I'm looking at it off the tee box. I've got my front bunker. I see my pin. My landing area is right down in here, whether I go 3-wood or whether I go driver. Now what happens when you elevate all three of those bunkers, as they are, just a straight up elevation on all three of them, and you've kind of got the right side of that green right there kind of hidden a little bit by the bunkers, but how much more does it make it pop? So you got that look right there that, and I'm trying to let you use your imagination here, and you kind of have to. So you got your level pin out here to the left, those bunkers elevated, and then you've got that far left bunker, or the one back there that's in the far left, recessed down in behind it. Oh my God, that's such a good look. That you do that on this course, I'm sitting here looking at this shot going, holy shit, he just nailed the hell out of this. Nezzy just nailed this all to pieces. And now then, instead I'm sitting here looking like, you know what, it's good. It's not great. It's good, but it's not great. I mean, that's where you got to start taking some risk here and there. But by brave, it means quit thinking that everything has to be flat, level, and symmetrical, and in unison, and everything else. Start thinking about your visual sight lines. So what I'm saying by this, realistically, those bunkers are not in play. Those are aesthetics only. That's all they're there for. They are there to frame the hole. And while they accomplish it, they're really only going to accomplish it from a few different angles. Namely being right here. You know, if I go short back over here, I'm not going to get the effect. So if I don't take on that bunker and I shorten up right here, I'm not going to see him. I hit driver and I get out here to the left or anything else like I'm right there. Now think of it, and don't get me wrong, they look good like that. He was on the right track right there. He's got him stair step. It looks cool. I like the way it frames, but take it up one other step. Think about it from a sightline perspective. And this is when I stream. When I'm actually doing my own course design, you guys see me play stuff over and over and over again. And all I'm doing, by the time I get to this point, I already know how my course plays. I'm not trying to solve that conundrum anymore. I'm looking at what it looks like. I look at it from the green backwards. I look at it from the fairway forward. I look at it from 5-wood, 3-wood driver forward. I want my sight lines to be good on all those different angles. Now, granted, you can have some stuff hidden. You can have some stuff off to the side. I'm not saying it has to be done all the time. But as you're going through, especially in a contest format, start thinking about what really makes this stand out and pop. Those raised to where it's visible up here, they're not playable. All you're doing is creating depth, not only to that side of your fairway, but to the green itself. You're making it look more intimidating. You're giving something that makes it look like you got to hit over it. And you're making that back bunker really, really stand out because you got all this stuff forward. You're creating a three-dimensional effect with what you're doing right there. So you're making different parts of your course stand out just by a couple of small, minor little tweaks. So that's all I'm saying. And once again, what he did is not bad. It actually looks very good. But there is another level to it that can be had. And Reeb just nailed it. It's pushing the eyeballs. It's layering. That's all it is. You guys see me do it all the freaking time on my courses, man. And I'm not trying to say I know what I'm doing as a designer, or I'm good, or I'm great, or I'm better than you, or anything else. That's not my point at all. But it's something I'm conscious about, that I use bunkers that I know are not going to be in play, only to either push my green up, push it back, bring it forward, to set other things off. All you're doing is creating different levels to your course. You're giving it depth by using stuff that's really not in play. Surprised I actually hit a decent shot right there. I got into so much talking that I felt like I kind of lost my little groove there. But I actually really like this hole. This is a very neat idea for a hole. This is a very good short par 4 right here. So, and I do like what he's done with the bunkers. That's a very cool little style. You can see how he's kind of layered them in. I like the ridge work going on. And that needs to be understood. I'm not downing him for what he did. That's actually a very cool little style he's got going on right there on that. I'm just saying that, okay, you got it there, and you made it look good. Now make it a feature. Really make this stick out and pop. You just have more of a hill coming off behind it, you know, off the fairway apron right here. I mean, it's just a really cool effect. This is one little things. And once again, guys, I'm not saying what he did was bad. Not the point at all. I'm just saying that he really could have made it stand out just a little bit more. Oh, yeah? Well, what, Reeb? Do I need to go into your whip thread and read the backstory and figure out what you wanted me to do on the par 4? Is that what I needed to do? Woo! I have an interesting par 3 right here. This thing's got a little bit of meat on the bone, doesn't it? Ooh, boy. Hmm. Green size is good for this length and everything else. I like the backstop behind this. You have different ways to play it. You got to be really careful. You got to be really careful about this kind of elevation for this length of shot into this green. I'm sure that it's meant to play that way, that you land it up in here and you'll catch it and you'll run it down, but you still have to be careful of it. Even though you have raised the side up a little bit to kind of help it stop, so you're not trying to push the ball off there. Just be really careful about that. Not as crazy about the bunker over on the left. I like what you got going over here on the right. The left, it looks good off the tee box. It's got a little bit different shape to it, but that's a me thing. Nothing wrong with what he's done there. Oh yeah! Look at that non-flat tee box. Oh, don't you get up there. Don't you get up there. Oh, I was about to say, shit. I was about to talk trash to Mitch because I was like, and this is why I carry a 1 iron. But it almost cost me. Holy crap. Okay, well, shit, man. I was just taking an 8 iron and lofted it to get to that point. Good Lord. Nobody can tell me. My Belinda and I almost actually did not get together because of that whole little thing right there. I am very poker faced in real life. Um, Believe it or not, I'm not very expressive kind of deal. I'm very monotone. I just speak my mind. I say what I mean at that given time, so it's sometimes hard to pick up on when I'm being funny and when I'm not. But I blame it on the military. Yeah, I never hit that. That was a birdie right there if I hit that putt. That was right on line. That was not a hard putt. So, neat little hole there, Eric. Not a bad long par 3 at all, brother. Okay. Oh, and I know that as well, Eric. I was just giving Reeb crap on that. Uh, so why do I feel like he set me up for something bad right here? Cool look off the tee. I actually like this. I knew that ball was going further down in there than what it was showing me. I knew it for a damn fact. Well, I mean, it just is what it is. The one thing I can tell you is that quit trying to make your flattening process so tight and precise. On my tee boxes, I actually exaggerate that brush a little bit, so I go well outside of the area of my actual tee box that I want flat to avoid that. Because that way, if it does crimp or it goes off a little bit when I publish, it's still well off of my tee box thing. It looks like it's just because you're making these very small, precise tee boxes on it, and you're running the edges of your flattened brush right on the edges of the fairway area on your tee box. And you need to be extending that out about 1 to 1.5 yards in any given direction to make sure that everything stays flat. And that way, if you get that crimping or anything, it's not throwing your tee box off. That's what it looks like happened to me. I'll try to look on the next one that I see crimped and see if I can see what's going on with it. And I think he's done a lot of things strategically to try to make sure he puts people in between clubs on this as well. There's been a lot of them that are just right in between clubs, and I feel like he's done it on purpose. Ain't nothing wrong with it. Just something I've kind of noticed. Uh, I'll let other people answer that. MRO. To be honest, what's the best course in the game, emphasizing the technical aspect? I don't have an answer for that. I really don't. There are a lot of designers that are very technical and do a lot of good things with it. If it was TGC one, I'd point you to some of Taste GW's courses, but I think he only has like one or two that he's actually done, and I don't think they were really serious about what he was doing with it. Caramel Creek was just trying to satiate the man, so I don't count that one. In Arizona or Arizona Diamond, he was just kind of throwing out there. Um, but I will let the other people point out technical things, or courses they think are more technical. I don't like answering that kind of question if I'm just being honest. And I don't like doing the best of kind of deal because I always feel like that I'm going to leave a designer out, that's well deserving of it. And they're bullshitting you. There is no course called the Greensdale Ball Sweat, and there's not one called the Greensdale Morning Wood yet. But it is in development, and it's actually going to be paying homage to Eric Nesbitt, because I'm going to place that course in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So that is going to be my Pennsylvania course. I already know what's happening with it. I'm I'm actually not pandering to Reeb when I say this, and it's not even a TGC2 course. I think one of the best technically designed courses I've ever played in this game was a TGC1 course called the Rookery. There was so much genius in that course that I don't think people ever recognized. And it played a little bit on the fantasy side of what was going on, but there was a lot of technical fucking genius. Pardon my French. Same thing on this one. Eric, you've got some good things going on. I like the shape of your hole. I like the idea and the concept behind the hole. But I think just a little bit more, doing more with the bunkers out front as far as like raising these bunkers up higher in front would have given your green a little bit of depth. I like what you're going on. I like what you have going on with the bunkers behind the green, but I think you could have raised some of the ones up in front of it and given more of a back slope off of that. So if somebody really tries to carry this, they can be aided a little bit by the back slope off of these, and it gives you a really cool visual effect in front of this green as well. Just my opinion. I'm going to hit off these tee boxes. I don't know how that was a fast downswing, but you know what? Just out of spite, I will probably never do an Ohio course. I'm actually one of these people that I don't like Ohio as a state, man. Anytime you have Cleveland and Erie in the same damn state, it's hard for me to do it. And then you've got that jackass Ohio State University bullshit going on up there, hiring reject SEC coaches and all that. I ain't like I got like a lot of love for For Ohio. No, I count Erie as part of Ohio. It's not cool enough to be in Pennsylvania, man. I count that as Ohio. You can put Detroit in Ohio too. I mean, it just has the same feel. Detroit, Erie, Cleveland, Allentown, Pennsylvania. Just put all that crap in Ohio and call it a day, man. They're the same place. That's about the only thing nice about Allentown and Warhawk. The 3 or 4 times I've been in Allentown, it was kind of like, okay, and people choose to live here. Why? So it's a nice looking hole off the tee box right here, Eric. I like this. It has a very nice flow to it. And actually, I'm one of those people. I like Western Pennsylvania. I like over near Pittsburgh and all that. I'm not big on Eastern Pennsylvania. I didn't leave a damn thing in Philadelphia that I ever need to go back for. And I'm one of those people that once you get to Washington D.C. and north, it's just I'm not a northeasterner, man. It's just not my part of the country. God love you that enjoy it up there. If it's what it is what it is. I don't mind going to New York City every once in a while for a weekend, but that's all I want of it. That's all I want of it. There's a lot of good New England courses. There's a ton of good New England courses, actually. I've driven plenty in Pittsburgh, Kessler. I've done a lot of work in and around the Pittsburgh area. Pittsburgh, Morgantown, West Virginia, a little bit like the northern part of West Virginia and Virginia and the Pittsburgh area, Knoxville. I've been in and up around those parts a lot, so believe me. Yeah, this is a nice looking hole. No, driving in from the Pittsburgh airport's very awesome. You coming in across the bridge, you get PNC Park and Heinz Field and all that. That's pretty cool. If you went to college at University of West Virginia, I'm assuming you've burned a couch or two. So can't say you never had fun if you're burning couches, man. Yep, cool hole there, Eric. That might be one of the better holes on the course. I actually really like that one. And to be fair, most of my time in Ohio has been down around the Cincinnati, Louisville area. So I've spent more time in southern Ohio. Um, I've never spent a lot of time up through the middle and the north. The little bit of time I did spend in Cleveland just made me realize I never wanted to live in frickin' Cleveland, even though it is the Griffin City. So I mean, it has that going for it. Even people that live in Cleveland don't know that. Yeah, so that's what it is on the tee boxes there, Eric, is that you've made these with your size and everything else, you're not extending your flat and brush out far enough. You're just focusing it right on the edges of your tee box area, and they need to go out further. So you need to extend that edge out to about this point right there, and you won't have that problem. So then if you get a little bit of that crimp, it's going to be here in your area where you've got your heavy rough. It's not going to be up here on your playing surface. That's all it is. You need to make your flattened brushes a little bit larger. Woo, that was a straight shot right there. That might be my straightest one of the day. Huh, okay. I wasn't expecting this putt off that shot, so. Oh, okay. I mean, I see where you're going with the pins. You know, be careful on that, but damn sure wasn't expecting this putt. There it goes. I knew I should have gone more to the right on that. Just couldn't talk myself into it. And sorry to DDX, who apparently went to grad school at the University of Alabama. I didn't leave a damn thing in Birmingham or Tuscaloosa I need to go back for either. Alabama's got some great courses. It's got some great cities. I don't put Birmingham up there with one of them. Of course, Montgomery sucks ass, too. I don't know if anything sucks worse than the University of Auburn or Auburn University. Fucking Barners. Freaking hate Auburn, man. Bunch of dirty ass cheating some bitches right there. Like, that is their sport there. Sports at Auburn really have nothing to do with what you do on the field or anything else. It's if you can cheat and get away with it. That is Auburn sports. You should just be football. Hell, they're doing it in basketball now, so baseball will be next. What is the rock pile we got going on over here? Yeah, I'm not going to get too much into it. You guys know my feeling on rocks already. They get overused. Tell you what, you're going to be better off if you're going to use a bridge like this of setting it off to the side. And here's why. You bring your path like over here on this side and you run it off. It's not much of a thing because with that drive right there with the tailwind, you get a ball up down in there close enough to that bridge, man, and you just screwed somebody. They're going to bounce right off that damn bridge. What's bridge gate? Did I miss something? But you got to be careful from a design perspective. Number one, it's not even. So at the very least, you want to make sure you want to bring your ground up level to that bridge. Definitely at least do that. I mean, it's not as big of a deal because you don't have cart path connecting it or anything, but still, I mean, I see where you could step up on it and everything else. So there's not going to be points taken off for that, for not having even ground and all that. But you have to be very careful when you're shortening up a hole like this because it is very viable that a ball can end up down here in this area. And if it does, then you're going to have some pissed off people, especially in a tour round, trying to hit off of that. So personally, I would recommend that. I mean, this is definitely a tour-worthy course and it's going to be used. I'd seriously consider changing my terrain a little bit over here to the right-hand side and moving that bridge off to the other side. That way it takes a pretty bad shot to bring that bridge into play. I wouldn't want it right there, but that's just my personal take on it, man. Okay, JRO just asked me, yo, bro, what do you do when you start hitting it bad? Do you think I'm hitting it good? I mean, seriously, you have not watched a lot of my streams. I am pretty known for not hitting shit good. Just saying. Yeah, that's why I was saying, Eric, is that it's not a big deal since you don't have cart path connecting to it. If you actually had a cart path there, I'd probably be a little bit critical on it. But with what you had right there, good lord, how in the hell did I stick up on this hill? On firm greens, how in the hell did I stick up on this? Oh my god. I mean, lord. Man, I don't know how I ended up there. That's damn near impossible. We are ready to the closing hole. A 308 yard. Oh, it happens, man. How I handle that is I just turn the game off. That's how I handle that. If I get to a point where I can't hit straight or within the cone anymore, I just get the hell off the game. Um, and it also depends on what time you play because it all has to do with lag and such. So I mean, it happens to all of us. Believe me, you will not be the first person that says that they've had a problem with it. But half the time when I play, tempo is optional. Okay, that's fun. With the right wind, that could make for a very drivable hole. I actually might have been able to drive that had I played a little bit more into the left, but I wasn't willing to bring the water into play. I'm very cool with where we ended up right here. I am very okay with this. Mm. Oh, this is a snarky little putt you got going on right here, man. Let's just go straight at it. So, well, there we go. The Chastener by Victory Lane Sports, aka Eric Desbit, aka Nezzy the Lezzy. So, I actually really like the course. No doubt about it. It's going to end up on tour. I know it's already gotten some play by HB Studios on their beat the dev kind of stuff. Um, but yeah, I mean, I pointed out some things here and there. All in all, it's a pretty straightforward course. I enjoyed it. I think it was well done. I think there were some missed opportunities to really make some things pop, and I'm only going to bring it up because Eric's gone from that point of a beginning designer and kind of getting the feel for it to, okay, now how does he take that next step? You know, you want to be one of the masters in this, these are the things you have to know. You have to start looking at your sight lines. Be adventurous. Don't restrain yourself and think like, oh my goodness, you know, this is technically the exact way to do a course, blah blah blah. This is flat and this is here and this is here and this is here. No, use your eyeballs. especially if it's not playable. You got a lot of bunkers here that they're not going to be in play unless somebody is just completely knuckleheading their way around a course. So if you're using them to frame your holes and create your sight lines anyway, well, damn it, man, use them to create your sight lines and frame your holes. Don't be afraid to use some elevation here and there on those areas to make it work. But all in all, it's a really good, solid course. Be interesting to see where the judges come out with it, what they had to say about it. Fully expected to be on tour. I don't know what more I can say about it. Other than that, guys, I'm going to take a 5-minute break so I can get this thing ready to export to YouTube, so I can get it loaded up, if not later tonight, tomorrow. And I'll be back in about 5 minutes.